Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm doing my March reading wrap up. So I do not have a book haul for March because I didn't buy any books in March, but I am buying at least a couple of books in April, so I will unhaul whatever I buy. I'm still kind of on the fence about one book, so I'm trying to decide if I want to get it or not. Anyway, I read 4 books this month. So the first book I read this month is Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, and this is a literary fiction book told from the point of view of this guy, and he's reflecting back on his childhood, I think in the 60s, and the year that all these virgins who lived across the street from him and his friends all committed suicide. So this was made into like a teen movie like in the 90s. I think that was a very poor choice of direction because that movie made no sense. And so I thought maybe I didn't understand it because I was really young when I watched it, so I watched it when I was in my early 20s. I watched it again and it still didn't make any sense. But as I was watching the credits, I saw that it was based on the book, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to pick up the book one day. In any case, I finished the book this month and I actually really liked it. I feel like I understood why the girls committed suicide, and even though the book was still trying to paint like this, oh, we don't really know what happened, to me it's like it's very obvious. And I don't know, I thought it was really good. I don't read a lot of literary fiction. It's my opinion though, they probably should have taken like a White Oleander approach with the movie. Because I don't know, this kind of fiction just does not translate well to like 90s teen flick, you know? And next I read The Second Coming. This is the third installment of a very specific storyline about the mutant gene being wiped out and most of the mutants losing their powers, and then the ones that haven't lost their powers like band together, and then like out of the blue one day a mutant baby is born, this girl right here, and they think she's either coming to save or destroy humanity. So this was my favorite of the 3 that I read. I also read The House of M and Messiah Complex. The only downside about like these volumes is that it collects a bunch of different comic books together, and the problem with that is that all the artists of course have different styles, which leads to the artwork being different from chapter to chapter, and sometimes their costumes are wildly different to the point where I don't recognize who some of the people are at first, which leads to like a lot of confusion. But I think by the time I got to this one, I had gotten used to that, and so I recognized like the different kind of masks they would have Scott in, and the different outfits they had for Wolverine and blah blah blah. And I'm gonna try and show you, like, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. This is Scott up here in the corner. And this is one of at least 3 different versions. And this is Scott again down here. So you can already see like how different this Scott is from the other Scott. Like his eyeglasses are different. And there's another one where he has a mask that completely covers his face. And his hair and everything, but other than that, I really like this, and I like the ending, and it kind of makes me want to read more of these comic books. I am going to read Josh Whedon's Astonishing X-Men, but I don't know what I'm going to read after that. Next, I read Slasher Girls and Monster Boys. This is a dark YA anthology. Most of these are retellings of like classic horror stories, and this was so dark, and of course I loved it. But when I say it's dark, I mean like it's really dark. Like there are a couple stories in here that almost terrified me. There are some stories in here where I was like on the edge of my seat. Like this was really good. It's like I highly recommend if you like really dark supernatural horror. There are only like a couple of stories I was kind of on the fence about, but yeah, when I say it's dark, I mean like there are a couple of stories where like, you know, where I don't know, where like teens are getting abducted and possibly assaulted and murdered. There's a couple stories with, you know, like an abusive father figure, and like they're not like explicit details, so you don't like see anyone get smacked around by their stepdad or their dad or whatever, but like you know what happens. And that's not usually the kind of darkness I go for, but at the same time, like I just really appreciated like the authors like not being afraid to just go real dark with it. Like it was so good, and it like gave me so much life. Like I had such a good reading month. Like I loved everything that I read this month. And then the last book that I read, which technically finished on April 1st, but I'm counting it for March because I finished it over the weekend, for one thing, and for another thing, I kept putting it down Saturday to write because some kind of writing bug hit me over the weekend, and I ended up writing like 10,000 words on Saturday, and I just like could not stop writing. Which was great because like it's been a while since I've been like wanting to write during the day, and usually I just want to write at night. And anyway, I'm having a great time with my project, but this video is not about that. So the last book I finished is Splintered by E.G. Howard. I have been wanting to read this since the book came out, I think in 2014. Okay, I just checked, it's 2013. So I bought this book when it first came out, and then I found that it was part of a series, and so I got afraid that there was a cliffhanger ending, and so then I didn't read it. And then the years passed, and I still didn't read it. So I was like, finally, like, I was giving myself a couple more weeks of a writing break because I just wasn't feeling like inspired, which obviously that has changed. So I decided, you know what, I finally picked the physical books. Let me go ahead and knock them out, which I actually read the ebook for the first half. So I loved this book, and it like left me so happy at the end. And again, when I read a good book, it just gives me so much energy and so much life. And that's probably why I've been writing so much, because I have all this like creative fodder like in my creative well, and it's just like boiling over, and I have to just write to like bring it down some because I keep reading, which is making it overflow again. It's just been so great. But yeah, like I absolutely loved Alyssa, and I loved Jeb and Morpheus, and just about all the characters in this book were like really well thought out and really imagined. And even the Queen Red, I was expecting her to be like more of a caricature or something, and while she wasn't like super multi-layered, she was like a lot of fun to read about, and I kind of wish she had been in the story just a little bit more. But anyway, other than some very dense action sequences, this was really good and made me really happy. So what I mean by dense action scenes, it's that there were a lot of words used to describe things, and I'll give you an example, and this happened several times throughout the story. So there's this one scene where a couple of characters are like skateboarding, and the author just goes into way too much detail about where their feet are and their stance, and it's just say they got on the boards and you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to go through all those steps. I don't know how to do an ollie. I don't know how to ride a skateboard. Like, you can just say they're riding a skateboard. I've seen people ride a skateboard. I fill in the blanks, you know? Like, I don't need all the little steps that they're taking to get on the skateboard. And it just slowed me down. And that's one of the reasons I kept putting it down, because I was getting mad. And all, like, the dense action sequences were just, like, starting to frustrate me. Like, the plot was interesting, and I wanted to know what was going to happen, and I wanted it to move a little bit faster, and it just was not moving as fast as I wanted until we get to the end. But anyway, I'm so glad I finally read this, and I'm actually looking forward to reading the sequels. It doesn't end on the cliffhanger or anything, but I can see how the story can continue, and I'm interested to see like where the story is gonna go from here and how it's all going to end. But yeah, I like this, and I'm glad I finally read it. So that's all I read for this month, and like I said, this was a fantastic reading month. In any case, I want to end this video by wishing a happy book birthday to my third book baby that's coming out tomorrow. And I'm not making a video for that because I don't even know what to do, but I will have a blog post, and the link to my blog will be in the description. And here's my book baby, and it will be out tomorrow, and yeah. And I will also link to this book page on my blog so you can read the description if you want to. And this is what the back looks like. Very, very pretty. And I'm excited to have 3 books out now, and this is what they all look like. So yeah, I'm excited. Anyway, that is all for this video, and I will see you guys in another video with something later. Bye.